Wriothesley has finally been released from cryo jail, and in this video I'm going to go over everything you need to know about him, including his best builds, talent priorities, best weapons, best artifacts, and best teams. I've condensed everything down into the most important information, but I'm curious whether you prefer this style of guide over my more in-depth guides, so let me know which ones you like more in the comments below, and let's get started. Wriothesley is a cryo catalyst user and on-field damage dealer that can hit pretty hard, but is pretty tricky to play at C0. His gameplay revolves around using his elemental skill to enhance the damage of his normal and charge attacks. In this enhanced state, he'll drain his own HP with every attack to make them stronger. When his HP is under 60%, his charge attacks will deal 50% more damage, cost no stamina, and restore 30% of his max HP. This can happen once every 5 seconds, or up to twice per use of his elemental skill. He also has a passive talent that increases his damage when he's above 50% max HP, which means that you want to play him with less than 60% HP, but more than 50%, which can be annoying. Luckily, if you do 3 normal attacks and then jump at the end of his third hit, you'll cancel the ending animation, allowing Wriothesley to stay above 50% HP without using a healer. This is a very strong combo at C0, and you can repeat this 3 normal attack plus jump cancel technique 5 to 6 times during the duration of his elemental skill, making it one of the best combos for him. You can also just dash instead of jump at the end of the third hit, but that drains your stamina really fast, and Wriothesley's non-enhanced charge attacks already drain a lot of stamina, so you don't want to dash much at C0. If you have Wriothesley at C1 or above, however, you can do a simple combo of 5 normal attacks into a charge attack and then dash cancel the charge attack. While this combo is best for C1 plus Wriothesley, it can also be a good combo at C0 when paired with a healer that can keep Wriothesley's HP above 50%. Wriothesley is all about his normal and charge attacks, but his elemental burst should not be ignored because it does do a good amount of damage in a short amount of time. But honestly, his energy recharge requirements are too high to use it every rotation. Instead, plan to use his elemental burst every other rotation, or you'll need to build Wriothesley with around 200% energy recharge in most teams. And that's just not worth it, since a majority of his damage is coming from his normal and charge attacks, not his elemental burst. To get the most damage out of Wriothesley, you'll want to first level up his normal attack talent, and then his elemental skill, and lastly his elemental burst. His best builds prioritize crit rate and crit damage, and then after that attack and elemental mastery in a melt team. For weapons, his signature weapon is his best, no surprise there. But Wanderer's signature weapon, the Tula's Remembrance, is his second best catalyst, and even the Skyward Atlas is very nice for him. As for 4-star weapons and free-to-play weapons, the Widsith is his best 4-star option by far, and the Flowing Purity, which is the Fontaine craftable catalyst, is his recommended free-to-play option. As for artifacts, 4 pieces of the Marishose Hunter set is the best artifact set for him, and 4 pieces of the Shiminawa's Reminiscence set is okay, and you can also run him with 4 pieces of Unfinished Reverie in a Burning Melt team, or a 4-piece Blizzard Strayer in a Freeze team, but both of those options are worse than the Marishose Hunter artifact set, so just farm that. For artifact main stats, you want crit rate or crit damage on the circlet, a cryo damage goblet, and an attack sands. An elemental mastery sands is also good if you're playing Wriothesley in a reverse melt team, and for artifact substats you're looking for the same things: crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and elemental mastery if you're playing him in a reverse melt or a burning melt team. A lot of people talk about how good Wriothesley's first constellation is, but I'm here to tell you that it's not necessary. It is a sizable DPS increase, and it makes playing him a lot more comfortable, because it allows his first passive to trigger by completing a normal attack chain once you use his elemental skill, and that is regardless of his HP, which means that it is possible to use his enhanced charge attacks while still having healers on the team. But the increase to skill duration is not particularly useful, as most buffs will expire before his C1's extended duration is up. This all sounds pretty good, so why isn't it recommended for everyone? It's because you can use the same amount of Primo Gems and get another limited 5-star that can make your Wriothesley teams and your account overall even stronger. For example, someone like Shalonen or Farina are great to pair with Wriothesley, but they are also extremely useful additions to your account. But if you are someone who wants to invest more into Wriothesley, I would recommend getting his C1 over his signature weapon. Both are good, but his C1 just offers a lot more in terms of quality of life, while also providing a nice damage increase. Now let's talk about Wriothesley's best teams, and he has a pretty good amount of choices, but generally the best teams for him fall into two categories or some variation of them, and those are Melt and Freeze teams. For Wriothesley's Melt teams, you're pretty much always going to be using Bennett, and then from there you've got a few options. Xiangling, Xiaolonen, and Shenhe are all great choices for Wriothesley's Melt teams, and Frina is also really nice because she enables Vaporize along with your regular Melt setups while still providing her juicy damage buffs. You could also play a Melt team that incorporates Dendro characters for the burning reaction. You would still use Bennett in these teams, but the addition of characters like Emily or Nahida gives Wriothesley a bit more of a unique team that is still really powerful. Nahida buffs Wriothesley's personal damage for the Melt reactions in this team thanks to her Elemental Mastery buff that is provided from her Elemental Burst, and she also does a good amount of damage off field. Emily won't buff Wriothesley like Nahida will, but she can make up for it with her personal damage being higher than Nahida's. Wriothesley's freeze teams focus more on his personal damage, making him feel more like a hyper carry. Frina is a great option for her buffs and off-field damage, and Shenhe is a very common staple on Wriothesley's freeze teams. Xiaolonen and Kazuha are both great in these setups as well, since both of them can provide buffs through their combination of elemental resistance shred and damage bonus. This also makes it possible to play Wriothesley in a mono cryo team, which just drops the Hydro character in favor of another cryo character like Layla. There are many character combinations that work well with Wriothesley. I gave you some of his most effective and universal team members, but not everyone will have them, so I want to give you a few tips so that you can build an effective and powerful team with the characters you have. Wriothesley really appreciates shielders and healers to prevent him from being staggered during his combos and to keep his HP above 50%. If you have to choose between a shielder and a healer, a character who provides a shield is generally better. The interruption resistance from a shield makes executing his combos much more comfortable, as the timing for them can be fairly tight, and missing a combo due to an enemy attacking you can be a sizable DPS loss. Wriothesley's short range and single target nature makes characters that can provide a large AoE damage or grouping a lot more valuable, so characters like Ganyu and Kazuha can also pair very well with him. However, a lot of good supports for Wriothesley make him play in a small confined area to maximize his damage, aka Bennett. And if you have to choose between a team that does a lot of AoE damage or one that's more single target focused, the single target teams tend to let Wriothesley shine brighter. I hope this guide helped you understand how to punish your enemies with your Cryo Punchy Warden. If you appreciated this shorter style of guide, then let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and sub to the channel. And if you want to come say hi to me on Twitch, I stream daily in the mornings Eastern Standard Time. I love you everyone, stay jawsome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.